The Moody Blues, A Question of Balance, an LP I bought for £3 from Collector's Paradise in Chesham. I used to be surprised and a bit puzzled by the popularity of the Moody Blues, but now I think they are possibly a bit underrated, if not almost totally forgotten. Like LPs by 10cc, decent copies of most of the Moody Blues LPs can be bought for £2 or £3. The Moody Blues are usually given some credit for their groundbreaking 1967 album Days of Future Past, which some consider to be the first prog rock album. It is probably one of the first concept albums, and it famously has the hit Nights in White Satin, a song I have never particularly liked. A Question of Balance was their fifth album made by that lineup, and from my limited experience of their music, I would say I prefer this album even to their greatest hits. It has my favourite Moody Blues track, Question. This features a furiously fast rock section and then a slow section which features one of my favourite melodies in all of rock music. The thing that really made the Moody Blues special was the vocals. Most of the songs have multiple vocalists singing the lead line, which is okay by me because I don't particularly like hearing Justin Hayward singing solo. To me, he always sounds a bit Butlin's Redcoat. Accompanying the lead lines are harmonies and counter melodies, in places a bit Beatles, in places a bit Beach Boys. There is even something a bit Birdsy with a touch of 12-string guitar. On this album there are some great tunes and singing, but I always felt the production concentrated on the singing and made the instruments sound weaker than they needed to be. I can hear that the electric guitar is playing some really interesting lines, but they could have been just a bit more distorted and a bit louder. And the drums are always quite low in the mix. This album was released in 1970, and the lyrics often have that late 60s ideological but slightly naive quality. It is West Coast hippie with a touch of West Midlands earthiness. This is particularly evident on Minstrel Song, which epitomises the peace and love anthem. It has a big chorus that goes, "Everywhere love is around," but it also sounds a bit like an English folk song. In places they almost sound like the Forever Changes Love or the surrealistic Pillow Jefferson Airplane, only with a dad dancing flute player, Ned Flanders moustaches, and a mellotron doing most of the heavy lifting. One of the problems I have with the other Moody Blues albums I've heard is that they let the drummer do some kind of self-composed spoken word piece that makes you glad that Ringo had no aspirations to being a poet. However, on this album, the obligatory drummer-composed track actually works, as it follows a cod biblical sermon with some nice interweaving mellotron melodies, filmic choirs and chomping cellos, and then another big chorus. I bought this album because it was only £3, but I have played it quite a lot. It is probably the first Moody Blues thing I have found that did not disappoint. So I will buy others if I can find them in a bargain rack. And I might be a bit less prejudiced now that I'm getting old. Because listening to the Moody Blues may be the oral equivalent of wearing beige or eating Werther's Originals. A Question of Balance. The Moody Blues.